back and dab a little more. I think that's got us what we're looking for in that area. I don't know, painting this thing reminds me, I don't know why it reminds me when I was a kid. I don't know, 8 years old or whatever, 9. I got a microscope from Christmas from downtown Louisville, Kentucky. My mom had the hardest time with me. I was always down at this canal next door. Up there we call it a creek. So I was always down there digging the water up, seeing what I could find under there, and I found everything. She was all the time hunting me down. And I learned even back then there's a whole lot more to water than it's just being water. There's a whole world of its own, because you have your macro invertebrates, micro invertebrates, you have your vertebrates, you have your water quality, that would be pH, you have your hardness, your NTU, your turbidity, that's nephelometer turbidity units. You'll have your nitrogen, which this would be a lake with a low nitrogen, because even though you've got the algae growing, they help remove it in the cycle, but the water would be blue. Therefore, you wouldn't have an algae bloom from the TP and the NO3 combining in to make this lake green and dark like I did in my other painting. I more made it where it was more organic. It's actually a Lake Hancock type lake. This is more like the old Lake Mariana lake I remembered when I was a kid, except it had the old strand duckweed or algae growing up brown looking. But it got a lot of this in it too, where they sprayed it all out. But yeah, it's just like I say, every fish, if you ever go to any lake, any stream, every fish, every minnow, every what they call benthos, which is what's native, and that's what they base a permit on for a wastewater plant, on a discharge or an MPDES. You find out that the water quality is based on what lives there. And if you go in and you see a healthy bunch of bass and the water is clear like that, you would have a good balanced lake. When you come up and it's all dark, or it's really green, and they have what they call a non-source point and source point contamination, you've got a lot of fertilizers getting in the water, a lot of people, a lot of activity around the lakes that works into the lakes, and this stuff has to break down. The nitrogen cycle has to take effect on everything. But like I say, getting back to organisms, whatever is there is according to the ambient temperature of the water, or the air and the water of the species, the water quality. Everything affects it. Even the color of the fish will be affected by the water quality. If you catch a bright silver and gold bass, then that means the water's more transparent. You catch a dark black bass, the darker, that means the darker the tannic of the water. So, anyway.